What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, what's going on in our country, what's going on in Washington, D.C., money, investing, and the next stimulus package, the $3.5 trillion stimulus package. We have some major announcements that happened last night from both President Biden and for our school systems. Major announcements. I also have some new stimulus items that have been announced as well. These are actually some very major game-changing announcements for our country. Probably some of the biggest announcements for the year, in some cases for the decade or even the century. These are major announcements. And I do want to say, I want to even warn some of you guys that these are very controversial announcements. I'm not picking sides. I'm just bringing you guys the news. Don't shoot the messenger. Just remember that I'm not the one that makes these decisions. But I am here bringing you guys the news every single day. There are going to be several different controversial things that we're going to discuss here as I show you guys the news articles and let you guys know the decisions that are being made for our country here today. And there's going to be several more of these coming here in the next few days. And these are going to affect hundreds of millions of people. And these are the decisions, these are the battles being faced by our country today during this pandemic. These are very serious times. Lives are at stakes. People's futures are at stakes. And I've already seen some of the comments from the last video, and I know there's some very heated discussions in there. Try to keep the discussion civil. I know that a lot of people have very different opinions on this, but I understand it's a very difficult times for a lot of us. So without further ado, I have several different things we're going to discuss here because literally breaking news a lot has happened within the last 24 hours. And these are major items that are going to shape the future of our country and the direction that we go forward. So in no particular order, let's just start with this major item. Number one, LA County School Boards, LA County School District has mandated the COVID vaccines for all eligible students ages 12 and up in a school board vote yesterday. Yes, this is correct. Los Angeles has mandated vaccines for students ages 12 and older as of yesterday. The decision by the second largest school district in the country, quote, will increase safety in the classroom, but is likely to draw legal challenges, written here by the New York Times. As you can see here, Los Angeles is the first major school district in the United States. It's actually the second school district to do this. They're calling this the first major school district in the United States to mandate the virus vaccine for students aged 12 and older who are attending class in person. Last night, with the Delta variant ripping across the country, the district's Board of Education voted with a 6-0 vote to pass the measure on Thursday afternoon. The Los Angeles Unified School District is the second largest in the nation, and the mandate would eventually apply to more than 460,000 students. Almost 500,000 students will have to be vaccinated if they want to go to in-person school, including some enrolled in independent charter schools located in the district's building. The interim superintendent, Megan Riley, said at Thursday's board meeting that student vaccinations was one way to ensure that the district classrooms would be able to remain open. Los Angeles had some of the county's most extended school closures last year. Speaking about a 12th grade athlete whom she met during a vaccination drive, she said, quote, "We owe this child his senior year." Los Angeles, which already has a strict vaccine mandate for teachers and staff members, and the new student mandate will further increase the safety of the classroom. But it is also likely to be more divisive with far-reaching educational repercussions. According to LA County Department of Health, 58% of 12 to 18-year-olds living within the district boundaries have already received at least one dose of the vaccine. But polls show that many parents are hesitant to vaccinate their children against the virus, raising the question of how many families will keep their children home to learn online or transfer them to schools that do not require the shots. There is a 4-month timeline before proof of vaccination is required on January 10th, which would allow the district to partner with community organizations to reach approximately 80,000 students who are eligible for vaccination but have not yet gotten it. Why this is important is because this is the second school district to do this. This is the second largest school district in the country, and this will be the movement. This will be the start of the movement. If you can read the writing on the wall, this is kind of the first domino in the line. More states and cities and counties, school districts will follow. I can almost just guarantee that other school boards will start voting and start mandating this as well in states and cities and counties across the United States. So LA County has now voted and passed a vaccine mandate for school children 12 and older. And it almost certainly will be coming for other school districts across the country. Remember, the Pfizer vaccine is now fully FDA approved. The Moderna is not fully FDA approved. It's approved for emergency use only, but full FDA approval is expected to come soon. Let me know your thoughts on this, and let me know your thoughts on school children being required to get this vaccine. This will add to the list of other vaccines that are already required for school children to go to school. But obviously, this is a very controversial decision that has just happened in only 2 school districts. And if you can read the writing on the wall, this is just going to be happening across the country. And I think a lot of people are not quite prepared for this yet. And this was kind of lead to the next very controversial decision that President Biden just made yesterday, which will affect up to 100 million people with vaccine mandates as well. Yeah, President Biden announces a new vaccine mandate that will affect up to 100 million Americans. That's right, 100 million Americans that work at businesses that have over 100 employees. Yeah, this is just one of the new requirements. There's also some stimulus items in here as well. I'm going to read them to you directly from the whitehouse.gov website. Like I said, there's multiple different changes here that are going to be shaping the direction that our country makes, and they have all happened here within the last 12 to 24 hours. Major news here. Number one is requiring, directly here from the White House, requiring all employers with 100 plus employees to ensure their workers are vaccinated or get tested weekly. The Department of Labor's Occupational Safety and Health Administration is developing a rule that will require all employees or employers with 100 or more employees to ensure their workforce is fully vaccinated or require any workers who remain unvaccinated to produce a negative test result on at least a weekly basis before coming to work. OSHA will issue an emergency temporary standard to implement this requirement. This requirement will impact over 80 million workers in a private sector businesses with 100 plus employees. That's just number one. Number two, requiring vaccinations for all federal workers. Requiring vaccinations for all federal workers and for millions of contractors that do businesses with the federal government. So there's not even a weekly testing requirement here. You just basically have to be vaccinated for all federal workers and for millions of contractors that do business with the federal government. Yeah, so it says building on the president's announcement in July to strengthen the safety requirement for unvaccinated federal workers, the president has signed a presidential executive order to take those actions a step further and require all federal executive branch workers to be vaccinated. The president has also signed an executive order directing that this standard be extended to employees of contractors that do business with the federal government. As part of this effort, the Department of Defense, the Department of Veterans Affairs, the VA, the Indian Health Service, and the National Institute of Health will complete implementation of their previously announced vaccination requirements that cover 2.5 million people. Next up, requiring vaccinations for over 17 million healthcare workers at Medicare and Medicaid participating hospitals and other healthcare settings. Again, requiring vaccinations for over 17 million healthcare workers, Medicare and Medicaid participating hospitals, and other healthcare settings. No choice of a weekly test. You just straight up need to be vaccinated or you'll have to quit or get fired. Next up, calling on large entertainment venues to require proof of vaccination or testing for entry. Next up, requiring employers to provide paid time off to get vaccinated. There's a lot here, so I'm just going to try to get through this stuff. To continue efforts to ensure that no worker loses a dollar of pay because they get vaccinated, OSHA is developing a rule that will require employers with more than 100 employees to provide paid time off for the time it takes for workers to get vaccinated or to recover if they are under the weather post-vaccination. This requirement will be implemented through the ETS. Next up, they talk about providing booster shots. The administration is preparing for booster shots to start as early as September 20th. Booster shots are available right now for certain immunocompromised individuals, but they want to make it available to everybody starting September 20th for individuals that have had their second shot as of 8 months ago, subject to authorization or approval by the FDA and a recommendation by the ACIP. Getting a booster will be easy and booster shots will be free and widely available across 80,000 locations, from pharmacies to doctor offices. Next up, they talk about vaccinations for children. They say the FDA is under a process of evaluating for it for children under the age of 12. And the president's plan, the administration will do whatever it takes to support those efforts while continuing to respect and defer to the science decision-making process of the FDA agency. And they are going to require staff in Head Start programs, Department of Defense schools, and Bureau of Indian Education Operations schools to be vaccinated. They're also calling all state adoption vaccine requirements of schools employees. They're also calling on getting students and school staff tested regularly. As schools return to in-person learning, the administration is calling on all schools to set up regular testing in schools for students, teachers, and staff with CDC guidance. And again, we just talked about how some schools are already starting to mandate vaccines. So, yeah. Okay, next up, protecting our economic recovery. President Biden's economic plan is working. Since day one in office, the president has focused on jump-starting our economy, and they're announcing a couple stimulus items here. Number one, new support for small businesses impacted by the virus. The president's plan will help more than 150,000 small businesses by strengthening the EIDL program, which provides long-term low-cost loans. The improvements will allow more businesses to get greater and more flexible support from the $150 billion in loanable funds still available in this program. First, the SBA, the Small Business Administration, will increase the maximum amount of funding a small business can borrow through this program from $500,000 to $2 million, which can be used to hire and retain employees, purchase inventory and equipment, and pay off high interest debt. This increase will help small businesses, and SBA analyst of the current EIDL borrowers who qualify for this increase shows that more than 80% have 25 employees or less. The SBA will ensure that no small business has to start repaying these loans until 2 years after they receive the funding, so small businesses can get through the pandemic without having to make payments. Next, the SBA will make it easier for small businesses with multiple locations in hard hit sectors like restaurants, hotels, and gyms to access these loans to ensure that taxpayer dollars are used to support businesses that truly need help. The SBA has implemented tightened controls with and will collaborate closely with the SBA Inspector General to monitor this program. And lastly, to ensure that Main Street businesses have additional time to access remaining funds. SBA will offer 30-day exclusive window of access where only small businesses seeking loans of $500,000 or less will receive awards after the new improved loan product launches. Next up, streamlining the Paycheck Protection Program loan forgiveness process. Through the PPP, the SBA has made more than 11 million loans to small businesses that can be forgiven and taken off the books if they use the funds to keep their employees on the payroll. In order to receive forgiveness, borrowers have to complete an application with their PPP lender. The president's plan will make it easier for more than 3.5 million Paycheck Protection Program borrowers with loans of $150,000 or less to get their loans wiped clean. Under the new streamlined approach, the SBA sends a pre-completed application form to the borrower who can review, sign, and send back to the SBA, which then works with the lender to complete the forgiveness process. Since launching this new process on August 4th, more than 820,000 small businesses have applied for forgiveness, with borrowers spending an average of 6 minutes on the application and 60% of applicants completing the process on their mobile phone. The SBA expects more than 2.5 million additional small businesses to take advantage of this streamlined process in the months ahead and helping them avoid needless bureaucracy and avoiding costly principal and interest payments on their loans. Next up, launching the Community Navigator program to connect the small businesses to the help they need. The ARP, which is the American Rescue Plan, which was the third stimulus check package, invested $100 million to invest a new SBA Community Navigator program, which will deploy trusted community partners in underserved communities to better connect business owners to federal, state, and local resources. Community navigators will work with small business owners every step of the way to ensure that they are able to access the help they need under the president's plan. The SBA will complete their competitive review process to select community navigators and put them to work in underserved communities this fall. So we basically have a new kind of announcement of the EIDL program and a new streamlined process of forgiveness of PPP loans, the Paycheck Protection Program, which is for small business owners and for people with side hustles, side income. Like if you have an Amazon business, an eBay business, a side hustle, and if you've gotten a Paycheck Protection Program loan in the past, it can be forgiven, basically wiped away, and you don't have to repay it at all. So a couple different stimulus items there with the forgiveness of these loans as well. Also, I have several different other stimulus items that has just come across my desk right before this recording that I will have you for in the next episode. The next episode will actually have several different stimulus checks, stimulus items, stimulus programs that will be very, very good. I'm looking into the details of them. I always do my research and go through this stuff. So the next video will be very, very good in regards to stimulus items. So make sure to not miss out on the next video because I'm going to have some good news in regards to stimulus items. So Paycheck Protection Program, EIDL there, vaccine requirements. I know those are very, very controversial. Some people are happy about this. Some people are upset about this. It really just depends on what side of the aisle you're on. I think it's right now about 72% of the adults age 12 and over are vaccinated right now. It's a very, very controversial issue. So I'm just bringing you guys the facts, showing it to you on the screen, and you guys can make your own decisions. But this is the direction that our country is heading. And I also should kind of show you this. GOP, which is the grand old party, Republican governors vow to fight Biden's new pandemic measures. And the Republican National Convention vows to sue over the Biden vaccine testing mandate. However, I've looked into the history of the Supreme Court rulings and the history of vaccine mandates. Even just recently, the Supreme Court right now, which is actually majority ruled by Republicans, there's 6 Republicans on the Supreme Court right now and 3 Democrats. The Supreme Court actually just ruled that they wouldn't block a Indiana University vaccine mandate. So right now, the Supreme Court has ruled once that they would not block a vaccine mandate, just to kind of let you know where this is kind of going here. Again, I'm not picking sides. I'm just kind of trying to bring you guys the facts so that you guys know what's going on in our country. Also, a couple more articles here. Vaccine mandates are an American tradition. Again, schools have been requiring vaccine mandates for many, many years, and the backlash of vaccine mandates is nothing new. So if you're feeling anger, again, it's completely normal. It's completely normal to feel this. Um, Either side of the fence you're on, I feel like it's normal to feel it either way. I really do. I feel like no matter which side of the fence you're on, I feel like, believe it or not, it's normal on either side. Yeah, the surprisingly strong Supreme Court precedents supporting vaccine mandates. Yeah, and there's been several rulings so far that businesses can require vaccines. Now, of course, this can always be challenged in a court of law, and any lawsuit may come up with a different legal challenge, and we've seen this a different legal solution, and we've kind of seen this happen with the unemployment lawsuits, where they were different. Different states had different ending resolutions. But we will see. So far, the Supreme Court has had at least one vaccine mandate ruling. And the Supreme Court, even with a Republican majority, which again, normally they've been ruling against Biden, in this case, they ruled to not block a vaccine mandate. So we will see going forward. I definitely think we're going to see a lot of legal challenges for a lot of these things going forward. But as of right now, I haven't seen very many legal challenges on vaccine mandates get overturned. Let's just put it that way. All the research I've seen on the legal findings, the legal challenges, the Supreme Court findings, putting political opinions aside, because a lot of people are against them, a lot of people are for them, just looking at kind of what the court has decided and what the past history of the United States has decided. We know that schools already have vaccine mandates for all sorts of other vaccines. Schools have been requiring vaccine mandates for many, many years. So we know that schools can require them. So that's kind of like the history of our country in a nutshell. And we will probably be seeing a lot of legal lawsuits going forward, as we just seen the Republicans, the governors, and the Republican National Convention said they will be suing. So it'll be an interesting battle to see where our country goes forward with these lawsuits and the direction of where our country heads. But I will keep you up to date with everything as well as this next stimulus package. The next video, I will have several different stimulus check and stimulus program items for you that are brand new. So do not miss out on the next video. Make sure to subscribe down below. Click the bell icon to get notifications. After you subscribe, the bell icon's there. And remember, new videos come out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have had dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income selling products on Amazon, and I teach people how to do that. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.